If I am nice to nice people, where the mala comes, and the bala comes when you don't listen to me, I might even do this. See, Yami is playing a very interesting role. A Sarkar is more like a, for a want of a better word, an enemies might call him a political gangster. A leader by himself cannot become a leader. Someone stands up for their cause, he becomes a hero for the people who suffered.
But you have this dialogue that एक हाथ में भाला, एक हाथ में
माला.
From what I understand, in terms of that it has a bit of socialistic streak to it, which is about the
yeah, but which is what Sarkar is about.
But
see, he is nice to.
Bal Thackeray was about in a way as well.
But that's what I'm saying. I am not denying that. I'm saying the fact that he can use a threat, sometimes an implied violence, which is what I'm saying when you're running a parallel system, where there is a system, there is a judicial process and all that. But if one man is taking an arbitrary decision based on directly what he feels in his heart, what is right, whether you call it a dictator or a kind of whatever you would like to call, or a gunda element in some sense, you know, all that comes from the same space. So if I am nice to nice people, where the mala comes, and the bala comes when you don't listen to me, I might even do this. Yeah.
Right. Dialogues are very interesting. They're extremely powerful as well. When you say that बहुत से चूहे जो हैं वो शेर को क्या एक बिल्ली तक को नहीं डरा सकते हैं. It is something which is in many ways it goes very well in terms of the massy audience. People like listening to such dialogues. They like listening to such dialogues and maybe whistling on them, especially in single screens. So who has written the dialogues and how important are these for? Because
see,
character is very heavily dependent on what he says and what he believes in.
See, all my scripts, Fardun, whether they're good or bad, actually I write them in English because I think in English, and then I kind of get someone to translate it, you know. And sometimes certain phrases which I'm not very familiar with, I might ask the actors, including Mr. Bachchan, you know. I kind of just take the general content, I'll put the key lines, and I start picking up from various people depending on the situation.
Right. Okay, what exactly is Yami Gautam doing in the movie? Because from whatever we see in the promo, I think she looks very interesting. The way her eyes are communicating and she's having a pistol in her hands.
See, Yami is playing a very interesting role in the sense that she has, I mean, if you look at it, both Sarkar and Sarkar Raj, the female characters were mostly functional. They were like playing the role of a wife or a girlfriend or something, not really intricate to the plot, not really integral to the plot, let me put it that way, you know. Whereas here, she has a grey shade, she has some kind of a vengeance against Sarkar for what he has done to her family a long time back. So I thought to put someone who's so pretty and vulnerable and innocent looking girl like Yami in a space like Sarkar, I thought would be very interesting.
Okay, so she's actually trying to take some sort of revenge.
Yeah.
It is also a bit hard to believe when Sarkar says that I've not killed anyone with my own hands in the last 35 years. That's something that people, because all the time the entire dichotomy, that the paradox about Sarkar, that what people perceive about him and what he thinks that he is, there is a paradox. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but you see,
Rohini has something else to say. Rohini Hattangadi's character, she has something else to say about Sarkar.
See, the point is, the biggest people, the biggest leaders, you'll be surprised to know, very few of them actually indulge in violence or direct violence at best, I would say, you know. It is their thought, it is their people who kind of understand and do the needful. I mean, for keeping aside, I mean, I would say a Sarkar is more like a, for a want of a better word, an enemies might call him a political gangster. He could be involved in politics, but at the same time, if he's using violence outside the acceptable means to the establishment, they are called gangsters, they're called rowdies, they're called, whatever name you wish to give them, you know. So, I would say that at the top of the group, whoever is, he would never indulge in a direct violence. Only it can happen when something extremely personal happens and extremely hurtful, or where his emotions gets provoked to that extent, there, you know, where you hear this, what I want to kill him myself, you know, which means that is an expression of extreme anger. Yeah.
Now, one more thing, as I was telling you before we started the interview, that what I personally found very interesting was because it's very easy to basically contextualize something maybe in the present format, and to maybe because it finds resonance with the audience, with what is going on, because these days in many ways news channels, they become like entertainment channels in their own way, and they are having all sorts of high decibel background score, which is as good as like any masala movie in its own right. You don't contextualize the politics of Sarkar, which I found very interesting. That it would have been an easy way out, because he has a stika. He could easily have been like a Hindutva icon, the way Bal Thackeray was, and I think it still is and will always remain. But you don't really get into that he's having any sort of the regular politics which we tend to see. It's more about ideology. It's more about ideology in the sense, in terms of what he believes is right or wrong, and that's how he just functions, which is very interesting actually.
See, I personally, first of all, never thought Sarkar was anything to do with politics. See, politics by definition is about wanting to attain a position and to rule and to kind of strengthen your party or all various things. Sarkar is more about an individual's righteousness, which is where the line symbolizes "Mujhe jo sahi lagta hai main karta hu." Now, why does that happen is only when an existing system sometimes fails to give justice, which is what I put in the opening of Sarkar. When a system fails, a power rises. Always, a kind of a rebel attitude in a person comes from a dissatisfaction,
right,
or the establishment's inability to satisfy the people. And nobody actually becomes a leader, because it is only the huge number of people who trust him who make him a leader. A leader by himself cannot become a leader. Then I think, so instead of taking, like what you mentioned, a Hindutva or X or Y, whatever most parties stand for, here I am talking about injustice and justice. I think eventually human beings suffer injustice, and if someone stands up for their cause, he becomes a hero for the people who suffered. Okay, so injustice it can sometimes be rooted in what we are talking about, but most of the time it is to do with the very basic needs like food and shelter. It can't be going really beyond that.
It can't be going beyond that.